today's lesson is going to be on 4 key tips related to Toeic sentence completion. Now, I'm going to give you 4 tips to help you increase your score. Before we start, please like, share, subscribe, support me however you can. Let's get started. Okay, tip number 1. The differences between number and amount. Remember that number of is followed by a plural noun, something countable, while amount of is followed by non-countable nouns. Let's look at an example. If I'm going to use a large amount, I might say there's a large amount of information, large amount of salt, water, confusion, drug use. These are all non-countable, so I use amount. However, if I use a large number of, we can see a large number of children, people, problems, issues, cats, dogs, something plural and countable. So let's look at a Toeic example. Here's the question. In recent years, the company has seen of employees quit. Well, I see that I have employees. This is plural. This is countable. So I'm going to use be, a significant number of employees, because employees is countable and it's plural and it has an S and everything makes sense. So the answer there, of course, is B. Let's look at another example. We require of data to reach a conclusion. Wow, data is non-countable. So immediately, number is wrong. And then I just look at context. A vast choice of data? Nah. What does that mean? A vast piece of data? I only want one piece of data. The best answer? B, a vast amount of data. So right away we know A is wrong, and we use C and D just for context to say it doesn't make sense. So my answer is B, a vast amount of data, because data is non-countable. So I'm going to use amount and not number. Now, tip number 2 for Toeic is, if you see so as an adverb in Toeic, you need to have that subject verb after it. Now, this is confusing because in spoken English, we often use so very freely. For example, his beard is getting so long, or the movie is so boring. However, Toeic is a jerk, and it wants you to use prescriptive grammar, which means it comes from textbooks. It's perfect English, whatever that is. So the formula you're going to see in Toeic is subject, verbs, so adjective, or so adverb, that subject verb. Here are some examples. The workout was so difficult that I decided to quit. Or the taxi driver drove so erratically that I thought he was drunk. Notice I always have that subject verb after, talking about the result. If you do not have that subject verb, do not pick so as your answer. So let's look at an example. It says, most of the students thought the test from the teacher was blank challenging and were unable to complete it. Now, many students will pick so. Don't, because there's no that subject verb after it. So is incorrect. Now I have extremely, significantly, and slightly. Now, the best answer is B. So you would pick B. Many people might ask, why not significantly? Well, significantly goes before comparative adjectives and adverbs. For example, I could say she is extremely tall, but she is significantly taller than me. All right, but remember, so is definitely not the answer here in Toeic because there's no that subject verb. Let's look at another example. The event was organized well that all attendees gave it 5 stars? Well, I see it says that all attendees gave it 5 stars. So here the answer is so, because we're using that formula. He is so tall that he can slam dunk. The event was organized so well that all attendees gave it 5 stars. So here the answer is so. All right, let's go to tip 3. Be aware of such. Such is very similar to so, but is not used before a flat adjective. Such is used before an adjective noun. Now, let's look at an example. He runs so fast that he could race in the Olympics. That's great. I'm using so. He is such a fast runner that he could race in the Olympics. Notice after such, I have adjective, noun. Such a fast runner. Here's another example. The movie was so successful that it was in the theater for 6 months. Perfect. It was such a successful movie that it was in the theater for 6 months. Notice, such a successful movie. Adjective, noun. So let's look at a Toeic example. It says, the woman had blank strong interview that she was offered a management position. Well, I'm not going to use a very because I have a result that she was offered. I'm not going to use a successfully because I have a result that she was offered. So it's either C or D. And the answer is C because I have strong adjective, interview, noun. She had such a strong interview that subject plus verb. Let's look at one more example. Many couldn't believe the product was light that you could carry it in your pocket. Well, we know very and extreme are wrong right away because we have that you could carry it in your pocket. So we have a result. So the answer is C. So, because it is an adjective. It was such a light product that you could carry it in your pocket, but the product was so light that you could carry it in your pocket. All right, so don't make those small mistakes because they usually come up once or twice on Toeic. Okay, tip number 4. This is going to be short and sweet. If you see a comma, the next word will not be that. And this can be important when we're looking at adjective clauses. Let's look at an example. It says, I have a brother, comma, loves swimming. Now, I cannot use that. That will be wrong. A is wrong because I have a comma. Now, the answer here is who, but that is definitely wrong. Let's look at another example. She lives in a city like has over 1 million people. B is definitely wrong because you have a comma before it, and that doesn't follow a comma in adjective clauses. Now, the answer here is which. It is not where, it is which, because which is a subject. Where is not a subject. Anyway, that's the rule. If you see a comma, you can eliminate that. Simple. All right, everyone. I hope you learned something today. Please subscribe, share, like, keep supporting me. It means a lot. I appreciate all of you, and best of luck on Toeic, or if you're just studying English. Have a great day. Bye.